The aircraft has flown in 11 years, last taking to the skies on the 5th of June, 2010. The museum's Canberra is now the only airworthy example in the world, apart from 3 that are still in use with NASA for research purposes. 2 WK165, an XIF Canberra B2, is on display at the South Australian Aviation Museum in Port Adelaide. 3 84-125 is stored at RAAF Base Amberley. 4 84-201, the first Australian-built GAF Canberra, is at RAAF Base Amberley in the Base Memorial Garden. 5 84-203 is on display at Evans Head Memorial Aerodrome. 6 84-204 is on display at Meandara Anzac Memorial Museum. 7 84-208 is privately owned and stored at Rupanyup. 8 84-209 is privately owned at Camden Museum of Aviation. 9 84-210 is privately owned at Mareeba. 10 84-219 is on display at Brimaru, Queensland. 11. Parts of A 84-220 are on display in the Air Warfare Centre at RAAF Base Edinburgh. 12. The cockpit of A 84-222 is preserved at the Australian National Aviation Museum in Robine, Victoria. 13. A 84-223 is on display outside No. 2 Squadron HQ at RAAF Base Williamtown. 14. A 84-224 is privately owned at Denison, Victoria. 15. A 84-225 is on display at Queensland Air Museum, Caloundra Airport. 16. A 84-226 is under restoration at the Australian National Aviation Museum. It was previously on display at RAAF Base Wagga. 17. A 84-230 is on display at the Aviation Heritage Museum in Bull Creek, Western Australia. 18. A 84-232 is privately owned and stored at Avalon Airport. 19. The front fuselage of A 84-234 is on display at the RAAF Museum. 20. A 84-235 is on display in the museum at RAAF Base Wagga. 21. A 84-236 is on display at the RAAF Museum. 22. A 84-238 is on display in a park at Willowbank, Queensland, adjacent to A 84-248. 23. A 84-241 is on display at Woomera Missile Park, Woomera, South Australia. 24. A 84-242 is on display at the RAAF Base Amberley Aviation Heritage Centre. 25. A 84-245 is on display at the Defence Science and Technology Group, Fisherman's Bend, Victoria. 26. A 84-247 was gifted to the Australian War Memorial in 1982 and is stored dismantled, pending restoration. 27. A 84-248 is on display in a park at Willowbank, Queensland, adjacent to A 84-238. 28. A 84-307 is on display at the National Vietnam Veterans Museum, Phillip Island, Victoria. 29. A 84-502 is preserved by the Historical Aircraft Restoration Society at Illawarra Regional Airport. Germany, edit. 1 Luftwaffe Canberra B.299 plus 34, former IFW K137, is on display at the International Luftfahrt Museum, Villingen-Schwenningen, Germany. 2 Luftwaffe Canberra B.299 plus 35, former IFW K138, is on display at the Militärhistorisches Museum Flugplatz Berlin Gatow at former IF Gatow, Berlin, Germany. 3 Luftwaffe Canberra B.299 plus 36, former IFW K130, is on display at the Auto and Technik Museum Sinchim at Sinchim, Germany. 4 IF Canberra B.I. I.8XM264 is on display at the Flugausstellung Hermeskeil at Hermeskeil, Germany. India, edit. 1AB, I-58 Canberra, serial IF907 is on display at the Indian Air Force Museum, Palam in Delhi, India. It is one of several diverted off an RAF contract as part of a 68 aircraft deal for India placed in January 1957. 2 A Canberra, no model number given, might be a PR-57 photo reconnaissance aircraft, is on display at the HAL Heritage Centre and Aerospace Museum in Bangalore. 3 A Canberra B, I-58, marked with serial IF908, is on display at the Sri Shivaji Preparatory Military School, SSPMS, in Pune. This is possibly former Royal New Zealand Air Force serial F1188, acquired by the Indian Air Force in November 1980. For one more B, I-58 Canberra is preserved at Pune at the Lohgong Air Station. Marked serial IF910, it is located on an active military base and is thus not open to the public. 5 A Canberra T.4 marked IQ999 is on display at Cadet Hill in Deolali, Nashik. Malta, edit. 1 A Canberra T.4, weight 483, was shipped to Malta International Airport in 2010. It is intended to be displayed at the Malta Aviation Museum eventually. New Zealand, edit. 1 Weight 346, Royal Air Force, is under static restoration to ANZAF B, I.12 configuration by the NZ Warbirds Association at Ardmore. Previously stored at the Air Force Museum of New Zealand. 284-207, Royal Australian Air Force, Australian-built GAF Canberra, is on display outside on a plinth at the National Transport and Toy Museum, 1 acre. 384-240, Royal Australian Air Force, is on display at the Air Force Museum of New Zealand. Norway, edit. 1 Canberra T.17 A WD955 Echo Mike gifted to Norsk Luftfartsmuseum and flown to Bod in 1995. Stored in complete condition in the museum's hangar at Bodmars, not open to public. South Africa, edit. 1 A Canberra TMK.4 457, 71,543, of the South African Air Force is displayed at the South African Air Force Museum, Swakop Air Force Base, Pretoria. 2 A Canberra TMK.4 459 of the South African Air Force is plinth at Air Force Base Waterkloof, Pretoria. Sweden, edit. 1 Canberra TP52, modified for Elent with a T.11 style nose is preserved at the Svadinos Museum, Uglarp. 2 The other Swedish Canberra was used for research and is on display at Swedish Air Force Museum in Linköping. United Kingdom, edit. 1 AB.2 Canberra, GCTTS previously WK163, is located at Doncaster Airport. In August 1957, WK163 broke the world altitude record when it flew to 70,310 feet. As of July 2016, it was undergoing restoration to flight-worthy condition, at which point it will be the only airworthy Canberra in Europe. 2 A PR.3 Canberra, WF922, is on static display at the Midland Air Museum at Coventry Airport in England. It was retired from the RAF in 1975. WF922 was fully restored by 1999. 3 A PR.9 Canberra, XH171, is on display at the RAF Museum Cosford in its Cold War collection. 4 A PR.9 Canberra, XH170, is on display as the Gate Guardian at RAF Whitton near Huntingdon in Cambridgeshire. 5PR.9 Canberra, XH131, is on display at the Ulster Aviation Society in their collection at the Maze Long Kesh, Lisburn, Northern Ireland. 680.4 Canberra, WH846, is on static display at the Yorkshire Air Museum near York. 780.4 Canberra, WJ874, is on display at the Cornwall Aviation